Okay.
Okay, you're recording.
Well, again, thank you all for having me tonight. And once again, thanks to Karen Johnson and all of her team. Beautiful stories. And, so typical, I guess, of, throughout the whole organization, so many wonderful stories. And it just brings so much, I like to call it emotional, that feel good when you really get to be able to enjoy the triumph of other people's success. We're all linked together because someone had the courage to reach out and tell someone else about this, and so we've all come together as a team, as a family, and especially right now, I would like to underscore what Karen said was that how blessed we are in this situation in life that we find ourselves, and that it has really, in a sense, prepared us to handle this in a way that has been a blessing to all of us. It's a very challenging and uncertain time, and yet there's a lot of certainty in what we do and how we go about doing it. And we've been having this gathering now on Thursday night, at least for 2 years or so. But since this pandemic, we've come together with a real strong purpose every Thursday night, and everyone's invited in the whole organization. And so you can invite your team at any time to really focus on how we can not only grow stronger and faster and better, but how to service others as well. And to do it, not only for the success of being able to create wonderful health for people and financial security, but for the greater good of all. And so I think this is a calling almost, I guess you would say, a call to action, this pandemic situation for all of us. If you happen to be joining us for the first time, it might be good for me to introduce myself. My name is Cheryl Cortese. I'm a National Marketing Director with the Juice Plus Company, and I've had this honor and privilege and prosperity and great happiness now for right at 33 years. And it's still a shock to me that this would turn out to be my career. I was an educator, taught at one of the universities in South Louisiana, which is where I'm from. And before that, I taught kindergarten. I'm a mom. I have a couple of kids. They're grown adults now. And my daughter has a son. So I'm out in California because that's where the children are. We can work from anywhere. And of course, grandbabies rule. And so I'm here because of that, but blessed to be so. So we've used this time to really focus on how do you take your business from start date and have that first goal of sales coordinator, because that's the top commission position. We all do the same thing. We share our business through stories. And with those stories, both product and business, give people the option. We're just really creating, I guess you would say, we're storytellers, we're paid storytellers, and we're just going through the world, sharing that story, giving people the option to either grow on our product, increase their health, or do both product and business, and share it with others. And so the reason to really focus on that sales coordinator and qualifying senior sales coordinator is our focus has been on creating what we call the comma club. And that's a check that has at least one comma in it. Now, that first comma is usually after, a $1,000. And that shows up aside from title bonuses and, other perks or extras that go along with our pay plan, but it shows up in that solid return from the organization on a consistent basis. And then after that, as you grow up through our plan, that what's in front of that comma can be whatever you want it to be, because consistent activity always brings growth. And I've, for the past few weeks, interviewed some of our other national marketing directors and just let them share with you, because this is something that in the beginning of my business was very empowering to me. Is I would go and listen to any of the national marketing directors I could. I was looking for maybe those little tips or tidbits that would add to what I had learned and how I could evolve in a better fashion. I wanted to study success. And I think, for all of us, you want to, first of all, have the mindset to expect success. But here is a wonderful way within our company to study success, because we have so many people who are. And so tonight I'm going to go to Rachel Smartt, as she is the National Marketing Director. I'm going to have her just tell you a little bit about herself, where she's from, her story, how long she's been with the company. And then we're just going to go back and forth and share what she does on a daily basis and how she's built a business. She just went into one of our top national marketing director positions. We have national marketing director as the top position, but then that has potential to grow as well. And so she's considered an international marketing director, and IMD, you might say. And so, Rachel, maybe you can share with folks, okay?
Oh, well, hello, everybody. It's nice to see you on the call late. We kind of start our business, kind of pop it out when we get ready to, people go to bed, we're ready to start. I-
Well,
but
we have good
I,
energy because we take that juice plus.
we do. And I'm grateful to be able to be, share some things tonight and hope that will help all of you. But I've been in the business for 20 years. I'm so blessed to have said yes. And then the journey I have learned as I went through the, mentorship program. I followed Cheryl, I followed the other mentors, and I just stayed in line. So I live in Georgia and I have 4 beautiful children. I almost have 7 grandchildren. So it's been a blessing to be able to raise them up in a culture of wellness, of seeing resiliency, and some of the things I'll share in my story. But I'm just grateful to share. And I'll just go ahead and share my story. I think it's always exciting when you hear other stories, and we saw a lot tonight, and just hearing the journey of what happens. And, we all have a core-based story we get really good at sharing. But I learned, I always loved health and nutrition. And I was 34 when I realized really what health really was and what it really meant. And I realized that health is an active choice we have to make. We can't leave it to chance. And unfortunately, when I was 34, we had a big scare in our family, and my husband was, perfect picture of health, 37 years of age. I was raising 4 little children, and out of the blue, he was suddenly diagnosed with terminal adrenal cancer and given 6 months to live. And as you know, and then you can even imagine, I had a 1-year-old and a 10-year-old and 2 in between, and I was scared to death. And I just thought, I thought if you looked good and felt good, then you're healthy. And I realized that health is an inside job, and we need to work at the cellular level. We needed a plan. So we began researching prevention. We were dismissed from traditional medical treatment because my husband had a rare cancer. And we poured into learning and researching prevention. And we realized that there is hope. And we know that food is the best medicine, and the body can heal. And we know that there is science behind successful aging, and we can turn the bad genes off largely by what we choose to eat and how we choose to think. And so we just thought, we're going to give it a fighting chance. We're going to pour into all these things to give us hope. And we were struggling to return to a plant-based diet, but we weren't getting 9 to 13 servings consistently. And we began juicing. And I know we all know juicing is a good thing, but it's a lot of sugar, and it's really messy. It's very expensive, and it was hard to keep up. I was spending way too much time in the kitchen. So my neighbor, a relentless neighbor, she told me to come hear a doctor speak on the power of fruits and vegetables and something called Juice Plus. And 30 plants, and I dismissed her for a while. I didn't think you could put a fruit and vegetable in a capsule, and I was still mopping and slopping and doing the hard do with juicing every day, and striving. It was kind of like a pioneer in it all. And then finally, one day I just said, I want to see the research. And it was the timing changed for me. And I couldn't believe it was a juicing alternative. It was no more food fights for my kids. It was my husband could have a plan of, being able to have a high dense, highly concentrated, pure raw food of 30 plants with skin peeling on, and just the quality was there. And it was kind of like having a maid to do the work. I mean, I was spending so much time trying to be the best parent, and it was tears of joy. And I'm just so grateful to have a done-for-you juicing program. And it helped my husband have a battle cancer plan, and it gave him the edge. His life was extended for 8 extra years, and it was with nearly optimal health. And it was just, when I think about it, I get really emotional, because I thought, what if somebody didn't share with me? And it came with plants, of course, plant-based, prayer, and a fighting spirit. But Juice Plus was the armor. I know that we were led to it by God. And then for me, I just share my quick story. I mean, I turned to plants, but I sailed through menopause. The Shred program became a game changer for me. And I used to always sneak, I don't know about some of you, I sneaked after the kids go to bed, I want to have my little sugar splurges, and that completely went to a screeching halt. And I don't hardly crave junk anymore. And I get a lot of compliments on my skin. And my kids, it's a peace of mind, and there is no price tag on the peace of mind for my kids. So that's my health story. And then I joined the business, because somebody asked, and I wanted to save some money. I'm a Smartt in that area. And I had a large family, and I thought, this is a responsibility. This isn't an option. This is the struggling families. Hope is not a strategy. Juice Plus is an active plan to be proactive on neutralizing the toxins and lowering inflammation, which is the foundation and lays the terrain for disease. And so, as you can imagine, picturing me as a young mom, little kids, I wasn't looking for busy work. I was looking for noble work, and I was looking for a way, I guess secretly, I was looking for a way to write my life's best life story, because I felt like part of me, I started when my husband was still alive and we worked that through. But when he passed away, I realized that death isn't the greatest loss. The greatest loss is what we let die when we're still alive. That's the greatest death. And so it was really an awakening, realizing that I could be who I wanted to be, and I had a second chance to write my story. And I went to conference, and it was like an awakening. I didn't have credentials. I didn't even finish college. I went 3 years in college, and I realized you didn't have to have credentials to be successful in this business. And some of the best leaders didn't have credentials. So I got a lot of hope there. And I realized that we needed purpose. We have to have passion. Happy people are looking for, not for money, is for growth and giving. And the paycheck rises because that's the indicator. So in time, I realized it became a burning passion. I wake up, it's a calling. I'm addicted. I know sometimes we talk about being addicted to your phone. I'm addicted to helping people, and I love my team. I love training them. I love mentoring them. I love helping them rewrite their story and helping them be braver than they ever thought possible. And that's my internal passion. And then I kind of had a desperate passion. I needed an insurance benefit packet real fast. And so when my husband passed away, I said, forget this, hobby stuff. I'm going to take it full on. In 2 years, I got the full benefits. And that was my biggest calling. Why I had to have that, because I was paying COBRA payments for my kids. I didn't want to write those big checks for nothing. So that's the reason why it was my hot button then. And my biggest reason is to mentor my children. I realized when you die, the really only thing for me that really matters is my kids and grandkids and what legacy I left for them. So that's my story. And I have stayed because of friendships. I have stayed. Cheryl is one of my mentors. I have stayed because of my team, and I empower families to say yes to abundant living. So that's my story, Cheryl. And then you can ask.
That's a beautiful story. And every time I hear it, I love it. I love it every time. And that's something that's very clear and comes across from you so well, is that everybody knows how your heart is really into this, and how much it means to you, and how much it means to you to enjoy the success of others. So let's talk just a little bit about, what do you feel are the things that really make your business work? Because, 20 years, we're talking about 20 years at this point. It's a big, strong business, but yet because I'm involved as well, I see that it continually grows, and that you're continually working at fostering that growth. You haven't just said, oh, okay, I'm making this is good, I'm making enough money. Instead, you continue fostering that growth. And so what are the things that you feel like really makes your business work?
Well, I think you learn as you go. And so all those that are watching are at different periods of stages of where you are. But I was a whirling dervish at the beginning. I was just passionate, on fire, but I didn't know what I was, you just start having a passion to share, but then you have to think about what really is to make your time valuable. So I'll just share 3 things that really were making my business work. And I've learned as I went, of course, but it's having the right mindset, fed daily. It is not start, stop, on, go. It's really that 95% of the success is personal growth, pouring into personal growth. And you have to be able to pour into that a little bit every day, to be able to pour into how you show up. It is how you fill up. And to understand that your brain tells false stories based on how it's striving to feel comfortable. So we start doing something scary, and our brain starts to tell you stories that you can't be successful. So I've learned to crowd out the bad with the good, and where you focus is where the energy goes. And so you start being grateful. One customer, be grateful for you have one customer, or be grateful you have one team member. And I can't be you, Cheryl, but I can be me. And so you know, learn that you can be you, and with trial and error, with self-assessment, that you can learn to be able to do well. And then I started learning to ask better questions. And so often I tell myself, and you always had to work on yourself, but I tell my team as well, as people go, I don't feel good, I feel stuck or whatever. I said, we have to switch the brain and do, it's called a brain hack. You say, I feel stuck. Then you say, well, what do you want to feel? I feel charged, electric, soaring, ignited. If you say, if I wake up and say, I feel scattered. Well, how do I want to feel? I feel organized. I feel powerful. I feel laser focused. So asking better questions. So that's one thing, is to be able to have the right mindset. And then the other thing is to pre-plan ahead. If you do not plan the week before, I know when I don't, because this is the thing I'm working on always, and I'm not perfect, but when I plan ahead on a Sunday, a night, I have a little pre-planning call. So the week doesn't swallow me whole. If I do not plan get my DMO sheet out, and what I do is I print off the daily magnificent outcome sheet, and on the very top, I write a power statement. I am seeing massive surge in my business. I love helping teams be independent, or something really strong at the beginning, and I fill it out. And if I don't do it, I am overwhelmed, I'm afraid. And that's one of the things that I've disciplined. And I remember talking to Jeff Roberti when I first started my business, and he said, that's the number one thing, to pre-plan your week before it happens. And so I created an accountability a buddy system that and only a few people even get on. It's amazing, but I know those who do, they are able to overcome that resistance to letting your week flop and be very overwhelmed. So then that's really important, is to pre-plan, or to plan some time before the week begins. And then this is the biggest thing. I know I have went to the next level is a national marketing director, but I have the structure for the executive marketing director. I just need a little bit more volume. But the thing that has shifted, as I've assessed, is raising the energy. And I realize that I am the lid of my team, and I teach the team leaders, if they want to grow, they show up. They show visibly up. They have to be a product, or try to be a product of the product. You don't have to be perfect, but you have to be present. And to be able to show up and raise the energy with your story, to invite to events and to partnership, and invite people to partner with you and to mentor them. So raising the energy is huge, and people are attracted to energy more than anything. And then step up the appreciation. That's something I've done, and I see that made a big difference when I was looking at, the brave acts. Even though when you didn't get the results, I always ask the team, tell me what you did that was brave. I have team that I realize we have to build culture, and some want to just do a little bit. So I have a little plan that I say, get on the Monday team call, and we call it a plug and post. So you plug into Monday call, and you post afterwards. I take a picture, and you share one or two things you took away. They feel empowered as the general whole. And then we go for those that want to build, go for 5 customers a month, or go for 5 and 1. I step up and show appreciation, and I rally where you are. Not everybody wants to be a national marketing director. So I've learned to allow people to say there's seasons in life. Sometimes you do a little, someday you do a lot. It's just do. And I thank people. So that's very big. I hope I'm not going too fast, but and then systems. This is where I guess if I had longer time, at the beginning of my business, I didn't have a lot of systems, and I felt I was carrying everyone, and I felt overwhelmed. I felt chaotic, and so we have a team call. We have a Monday, the first Monday. We have a team huddle. I changed the name to a huddle. It didn't sound like a meeting. It didn't sound fun when you were going to a meeting, but the team huddle is the first Monday. And then I have a second Monday, which I've let all the leadership do their own team call. So they step into leadership, and I've seen some gather up sidelines. So they're starting to learn how to rally the team, and that's their time to shine in their own. And they always, of course, promote the international call. And then the third Tuesday, I do it primarily for sales coordinators and above. And sometime I get guest national marketing directors speaking on our team call at times when I include everyone there. And then, so that's kind of the flow of the team leadership huddle. And then I have certain things that are in place during the week that are set up. The second Tuesday of a month is a Tower Garden event that I do with Sharon Hyde, another NMD from Florida that's not even in my organization, but she's so good. And then I do the third Tuesday is a shred event that I partner with another sideline that we do really well to bring that to the team. They know what's coming. And I've just recently picked doing a Meant for More business, so we'll have that in place for the month. But there is systems so that we don't have to, with all the event styles that we have, I say pick at least two, you know, if you want to grow, and don't get overwhelmed. There's just a buffet of options. But we have a Wednesday wellness, and then, you know, we have a customer page, and I've delegated leadership to run those. I started learning to delegate. That's huge. I used to always do everything myself, and I was like, that's not really leading. Leading is delegating. Leading is stepping up. And so I've really learned to have that team, learning about team. What is a leader? And then, of course, is the activity. You've taught me, Cheryl, that the 3 ways connections is the #1 way to grow your business. And I teach the team how to have, you know, my very best verbiage when I'm doing 3-way calls. And we use Voxer messages. If we can't get that person, like today I was helping another leader, Julie Fireeisen from Utah. She's a teacher now, so I help her at lunch break, and she has me Voxing messages that she texts to people that she wanted to connect. So that's 3 ways. Can be a Voxer text, a Vimeo invitation to an event. I help the teams do that. And one of my very best verbiage tips or one-liners is, hey, Susie, I didn't know if you're one of the ones. We're doing a shred event this next week, and I didn't want to leave you out. I don't know if you're one of the ones. You know, we're having a business challenge, or I didn't know if you're one of the ones. And so I've taught my team that is such a non-salesy verbiage. So those are some things that I could share more, but that's kind of some flow of the activity.
That's a beautiful sharing, because there's so much there, and such great things as far as, you know, leading and developing a team. As I listen to some of the things you're saying, and I know I can remember thinking early on, because Jeff Roberti is my sponsor, and, you know, he's #1 as far as company and company production and business development. And I can remember thinking, I can't be Jeff, but I can really work at being the best me. And I think that's such great advice, and you shared that, is that you really want to work at really being the very best version of yourself. And that's very available here, that growth, because it's growth as well, to do that. And then, you know, so many other things that you said, that consistency, really what you're describing is a framework that people can, you know, kind of fit into. They have that framework in place, and then, you know, they then fill in with the day-to-day operations of sharing with the people that they come across. So just so many really good things that, you know, as you listen to Rachel tonight, that are being implemented. And also, as you listen to her too, mindset, you know, how were you thinking? What is the self-talk? You know, what is the thing that's going on in your head? And she described that beautifully, that sometimes you have to, you know, really write out for yourself. For me, it was the treasure list, where I was going to go every day, okay, to find those people that I would be sharing product and business with, because that's where the treasure was in the people. And so, but that mindset of how do you think, you know, you expect success. And then, you know, what are the words that you need to hear, that your own mind needs to hear, that's going to foster that. So, you know, we think, and as I started this call, you know, we keep reminding each other that we want to really take advantage of this magical time. You know, it's so odd that something like a pandemic would yet wake up the world to the need for, you know, really good health, a strong immune system, security as far as being able to take care of yourself financially, to have that additional supplemental support in times that are needed. And, you know, then, like for many of us, it turns into a career that you never expected. But, you know, how many people have we heard on these stories that, you know, so thankful that this was already in process as times became challenging. So if we think about going to that comma club and having a very solid, consistent $1,000 a month or more, again, we're talking about the position of sales coordinator, you know, a qualifying senior sales coordinator. So let's talk about, you know, if you could give people who are in that kind of that part now, where they're going from either brand new team member, sales coordinator, maybe they're a sales coordinator, any other tips for people that are up and coming as far as their businesses? They're starting their businesses, they're laying the foundation.
Well, I just think get back to make a decision. There, when you waffle, it's very stressful. Do it messy, okay? I remember I was a lot more messy. I was just all over the place, and you learn as you go. But make a decision, where you just got to make a decision. No, if you waffle, it's very stressful and very draining. And I know at the beginning, I used to read a lot of health books, and I was all health and all my product story. And then I realized I've got to I want to be able to set free and have a team so I can be less, kind of have more help. I call it more helpers. And so I started reading more entrepreneur books, and I listened to podcasts, and I refined my business story. And so I started thinking about how I talk to myself, not just about getting people healthy, but I always say I attract thoroughbred leaders with ease. The leaders are right around the corner, and I just like that entrepreneurial mindset of I never saw myself as a leader. I like to follow people, and I love to rally good causes, but to be a leader, and so I had to look at leadership. And I feel like sometimes those, maybe a sales coordinator, maybe that's a place sometimes people get stuck, is because it's where you have to dig deeper on your why. You have to be able to dig deeper, and you have to get really good at what it is that you're doing it for, because it starts taking a different skill. And I think one of the things I had to reframe was reframing work. Work doesn't mean working all the time, or working hard doesn't mean working all the time. I used to think it did. I thought that being a national marketing director is you're busy all the time. And I was kind of a negative connotation. And now I realize, like today, I had a person says, "You work all the time." And I says, "I love what I do. I work hard from 1 to 2, and I work hard from 7 to 9. I get to choose what I do. I have a blast during the day, but I only work 3 to 4 hours if I focus. If I'm not organized, I'm scattered all over the place. So that's the thing. You work hard from 1 to 2 or 7 to 9, but you don't work all the time. At least I don't think that's a very good way to paint that vision. But we do work. We're not afraid to work. And I've learned too, for tips for leadership, is to set boundaries. I have made a welcome Voxer for my team. I've made some orientation little things to help our team move forward. That they do 3 things before they get on we call it orientation, not a launch. It's just kind of getting people in the rhythm. And if I had a lady got on and she was ready, she said she was ready. And I said, "Did you listen to the 3 things that you were given to pre-orientation?" And she said she hadn't done it. And so I set boundaries and says, "Oh, well, let's reschedule when you have a chance to listen to those 3 things." So, I've learned that skill. It's not to just make everything happen, or, I'm not dragging or bribing, or I want to empower leadership. And so I kind of set boundaries now. And so that's one of the tips. And I think one of the biggest ones is, Jay Martin would say, is get a buddy out of the gate, and to trust your sponsor, and learn to share business stories together with your product story is big. And I think a lot of trepidation is because people need to do some role playing around that, to know what you're going to say and how does it feel, and work out some of the fears and kinks, and then learning how to edify your leader. And I know a lot of times people say, "I'm a naturopathic doctor." I tell them to dumb it down. Just say, "I'm a friend. I'm your mentor, and I'm a friend. I'm a mom just like you." So it gets me to, you kind of downplay some things to get you to connect better. And this is a really piece, if you want to write this down, this is a really good way to get you in front of a sponsor or a leader. My team gets really good at this by saying, "I don't know, I wanted, I asked my friend to do me a favor. She's busy like you and I, but I asked her to tell her story. I know how much you could connect with her because she has children or whatever. I asked her to do me a favor." And so that kind of gets them right into, "Oh, wow, she's doing a favor." You asked her to share her story. That's cool. So that's one of the things. That's one of the tips. I'll just leave it at that, but hope those things help.
Well, we learn from each other all the time. I love that. I asked my friend to do me a favor. What a great way to invite to a 3-way call or Zoom. But also, as you said too, when you were starting, decide what you really, want. You want to go to sales coordinator, and, and again, it's back to mindset. So many of the things that Rachel just said, and some of them so powerful, really all of them. But to, really decide what you want, and then what is the activity that goes in place to make that happen. And this is what I have seen my entire career, is when somebody makes a decision and says, "I'm doing that," I'm got this. Okay. Once they make that decision, then, it's just a matter of, putting the activity in place and they do it. So I love it because it really is such good direction as far as our business is concerned. And look for those people that you want to emulate. As she said, you've got a system, but you also have boundaries as well. And truly, we spend usually the first 2, 3 years, 4 years, really putting very consistent effort into making sure that we get that foundation strong and we help that team come into place. And I said, and then we always stay consistent, but you structure your time as the way you want to do it. You still have to be disciplined. You still have to touch your business daily, but you can structure that in any way you choose once you have that foundation in place. And really, there's a lot of time freedom involved in that. And yet a lot of joy because you get to be part of so many other people's, um, you know, success, all of the good things that come along with our business. We're so fortunate because we are a very positive business. I mean, some businesses, some professions people have, they have to deal with a lot of negative that just happens, and not on purpose. I mean, if you're a physician and you're having to deal with people who are really ill, that's a little bit of a heavier weight maybe. But we deal with people and we work with each other from a very positive standpoint, and that really lifts, I think, the spirit and the whole experience, which is really nice. Anything else as we close here, Rachel, as far as your daily method of operation? Because you and I both. I'm 33 years, you 20, but we have a very I guess you would say systematic daily method of operation that we employ. And in other words, we know how to employ ourselves. And I employ myself at a high level because I want to be paid at a high level. But maybe just a little bit. Is there anything else you'd like to share as far as your daily method of operation?
I just think we have the little form, you just print it off and I fill it out on a Sunday. It takes only 30 minutes. It saves you hours during the week if you get it done. And then I turn it over and I just start writing, like, who am I going to invite to these events? We have 2 to 3 events. Who am I inviting? So I everything on the backside of what I'm doing to make the connections or what I need to do, the notes that I take during that day. So I keep them all together. And then I partner with, I know, like Doug Farrar and Sharon Farrar, I partner with them on Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings. I can try to get 1 or 2 of those. We do a little blitzing time in the morning. I work out and then I get right on a call with them to blitz. To do all the blitzing is just following up and doing the things that you need to do in a short amount of time. And then I just, go through, and for me as a season leader, at the beginning, I got a lot of customers. I get customers, they just come to me. I don't have to keep getting the customers. I'm really pouring into customers, referrals, helping the teams to encourage them. And then I always tell the main thing, and you've taught me this, Cheryl, I have it on my desk, and what success means really is, who did I call today? Who did I love on today? Who did I invite into the business today? And that's a success question. And it all comes down to, who did you talk to today? We think we're doing the business and we wonder why we're not growing, is that we didn't talk to anybody. And so we all are at different stages in the season. Some are full-time, work, and they do this part-time. It doesn't take a lot of work. It takes focused effort. And we just really blocking out some things. And I think busier people actually get more done because they do, because they only have the 30 minutes to an hour. So just realize, to end, my little tips with you is that at the beginning, it could seem like a lot because it's new, and any job that you have, it will feel overwhelming if you don't have the learning, but you're not doing it by yourself. You're doing it with a team. So sometimes to walk, sometimes you jog, sometimes you sprint, but you don't ever quit. So hope those are tips that were good to help.
That really is. And I think that, again, that consistency of effort and, just everything you've said tonight, hopefully everybody has heard and really paid attention. And here she, just in the very end, mentioned focus. Focus is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. people who can focus really access their abilities at the highest level. Because, you know, we hear this thing about multitask. I want to say monotask, okay? And that's what, you know, Rachel's really alluding to here, is that when you're going to focus on this, that gets your total attention. And then, you know, you may be on to other things that are, you know, your life is involved with. We all have, you know, families and, you know, things that we do otherwise, just because we live in a world that requires us to grocery shop, that requires us to do all kind of things besides just what we do. But focus is a huge power, and one to really be employed. Well, I really thank you, Rachel, so much for your time tonight. And that's another thing that I think we're particularly blessed. So many people come to our calls, you know, they offer their time, their energy, their expertise, their experience, and everyone does it for the good of everyone else. And that's huge. They do it as a gift. And I think this is something that, you know, I think we heard it in the earlier stories tonight, that the product's a gift, our business is a gift, and we're truly a gift to each other. So we look forward to seeing you all next Thursday night. Really encourage you to invite new people to come, to invite your teams to come, and sidelight teams. I mean, let's really work at being the best we can possibly be, each and every one of us together. I always say, you know, individually we're sharp, but together we're brilliant. So let's, you know, access that brilliance that's out there amongst everyone, and really bring it together as the treasure that it is for us to help everyone succeed at a really high level. So again, Rachel, thank you so much. And to our speakers tonight who shared their stories, Karen Johnson and Dr. Rachel Smartt, how much we appreciate you. So we're going to say goodnight, everyone. It usually seems like always about 5 minutes, 7 minutes over, but it's worth it. Okay?
Thank you
much.
so much.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. Thank
Wonderful.
you.
Thanks.
Thank you so very much.
Good night.
See you Monday.
Good night.
Good night.
Blessings and good night to all you all.
Thank you so much.
Good night.